Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Eclectica. I am Michael Seven Michael. We've got Michael the Knight. How you doing, sir?
Great.
And we've got Howard Landon.
Yeah, I'm here.
Our one of our favorite cosplayers. And he also is a superhero in his own right, part of the Navy. There you go. There you go. Are you on a ship right now?
No, I'm at home. I'm on shore, dude. I'm actually getting ready to transfer out to Japan here in a couple days.
Wow.
Okay.
Navy's literally coming here in less than 12 hours to come pack all of this away and stuff it into a crate.
You serious?
Yeah.
That's
Whoa.
awesome. And then we've got Sensei Vegan. How you doing, Charles?
Okay, this is scary. I got my phone here and Surrey's picking up the mic here. Let me put that over. I'm good, man.
Siri wants to be part of the interview.
I'm telling you, man. It's fine on us or something. I'm good. Good
So,
weekend.
Howard, I just, even before we just roll into different topics with the Eclectica, Navy, cosplay, gaming, I wouldn't think classically all those things are connected. How'd you get into all this?
Yes, they are.
Well, you need something to be able to pass the time when you're on deployment. Because let me tell you, when you
Okay.
get done doing maintenance or standing watch during the day, you need something to pass the time. And you can only work on so many qualifications at a time before somebody says, okay, go away. So some people pick up watching movies, some people play video games, others pick up other hobbies, whether it's collecting things, searching the internet for things, or just playing poker on domestics or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I picked up video games because it's a good way to pass the time, and it gave me something to look forward to after we got done with the work day.
Wow.
Are you a PC gamer, console? What do you prefer?
Personally, I prefer PC,
Mm-hmm.
but being on a ship, we're allowed, depending on what division you work for, some divisions allow you to have a TV in the workspace. So a lot of us would bring one console or another to plug into the TV, and we just bring different games to either play with each other, or
Gotcha.
if everybody's in bed and you're by yourself, to play a single-player game.
All right.
What kinds of games did your team generally play?
Let's see. We play the hell out of Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 were the team favorites.
Call of Duty, baby. Yeah. I'm a Call of Duty maniac, man. All right.
Yeah, I tell you.
Yeah,
I cannot begin to say how many late nights we spent just going into like 2, 3 in the morning, or waiting for the red watch, playing the death matches over and over again.
Dude, I remember playing Call of Duty. Man, it's like you play all night, just take a shower and go to work, man. It's like you don't and sleep, man. Yeah.
We do the same thing, except our shower, our work, and our game are all in the same place, separated by less than 150 feet of steel.
Yeah. That's funny. I do have a question, though. You're a cosplayer as well.
Yeah.
How many hours did it take you to make your cosplay, your costume?
Okay, so for the one that I'm most famous for, I have literally been working on that for over 2 years now. And
I don't want to butcher this name. Is it Ainu no Tohatsu? Tohatsu?
yeah, you butchered it all right.
I butchered it, man. I'm a country boy anyway. But I looked at that looked like it took a lot of work.
Yeah, Inu no Taisho is how it's pronounced. And that character, and Inu no Taisho took, God, I've been working on that for 2 years now. The tails alone took a little over 2.5, 3 months between trying to go with the sewing machine to try and make a clean connection for the tails before they came to the split, and for the back piece that actually connected with the nylon straps, they kept getting stuck in the sewing machine, so I had to hand stitch those in. And let me tell you, dude, if I never hand stitch anything ever again, it will only be too soon. I'm amazed I still have thumbs with how many times I stab myself.
I can imagine. Yeah, that thing took a lot of. I mean, this looks like it took a ton of work. It took a ton of work.
I've rebuilt the armor. Like, let's see, this last variant from Anime USA a couple weekends ago was actually the 5th build. So I went ahead and, since I don't trust the Navy with moving anything, I went ahead and salvaged what I could from that and destroyed the rest of it, because I'll have readily available access to the materials I need to rebuild and improve upon it when I get over to Japan.
Now, what did you use to build foam? What, as far as your materials to build?
Let me tell you, that is a very long list of things. I used Eva foam, I used Warbler, I used leather, oven baked clay, tar putty, PVC pipe. Let's see, what else? Nylon, polyester, cotton, fleece, false fur, obviously for the tails. Let's see, what else? And I also used a 3D filament for my 3D printer for a couple.
I was going to ask you that too. Did you 3D print? Would that make the process any easier? I mean, because you're going to take and rebuild the whole thing again, right?
Yep.
So do you think you can use more of 3D printing to make your work easier, or is it still going to have to be all those different elements put back in to piece it together again?
Part of the problem with 3D printing, there's only one piece on my entire cosplay that's 3D printed, and that would be the red gem at the center of my chest in the most recent build. And the problem with that is, hey, there's me. The problem with 3D printing is trying to get a curvature to match the armor, because what you try to do when you build armor is fit it to your body style or shape it to a particular way. And 3D printing, it'll print it 3D and it'll get the dimensions perfect. The problem though is you need a slight curvature on the bottom side and it prints flat. So you've got to try and either just manually sand it down using either a Dremel or sandpaper, or you're going to have to use something like filler foam to try and fill a small gap from the piece that's sticking up from the armor.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's impressive though. I mean, I'm a comic book writer, publisher, and we go to the shows, and I love seeing the cosplayers of the different costumes and everything, because I know the work that goes into that stuff, man, is no joke. And I mean, you do have some people that basically just slap their stuff together. You can tell. But I appreciate even you and the people that put the time and effort in to build those costumes. Because some of them, man, you come here like, wow. It's just like your jaw hits the floor. Yeah, so it's amazing stuff. It really is.
I've seen all kinds of crazy things. I've seen people go the next step with mechanics and using actual props that have moving machinery to either recreate a particular attack or to recreate a particular effect. Like, take for example, one of my buddies. His Facebook is Eric Slade Harris. He cosplays between Preston Garvey or an Alakir Redguard. And this past weekend, or the weekend before at Anime USA, he decided to experiment using some Dawn dish soap as well as butane with some water to actually recreate light actually holding fire. And
that's great.
It looked gorgeous in the videos. Wow. And in person, he's basically one of the few living pyromancers I've ever met. It's amazing. Just sit there and watch him quite literally holding fire. And I've actually tested what he does, and it doesn't burn your hand. You don't feel the heat. Matter of fact, if anything, it got extremely cold really quick after the fire went out.
You see, that's cool. Wow, I never knew that.
Amazing what you can do with science these days.
I'm telling you.
Cosplay the next step.
I'm telling you, I was like, even you taking a look at the cosplay, you see some of the cosplayers, you're like, okay, that looks really good. Hollywood, what's going on? You got a $150 million budget, man, and your costumes look like trash, man.
Let me tell you, there was Tidewater Comic-Con back in May, and there was pretty much a full Avengers ensemble that had Hollywood quality costumes. I mean, Yeah, if you were to look at the movie, you would swear that they basically just stuck their finger in the movie, pulled the guy out, and stuck it right there in the con. There were no differences. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. I was looking at the and this one just boggled my mind. And you can actually look it up on the internet. This guy cosplayed Apocalypse, and the Apocalypse looked like the Apocalypse in the cartoons. Man, I'm like, how the heck did he do that? But if you would look in, usually a Hollywood movie, they would take and make a whole CGI. You know what I mean? That whole type of thing. It was just incredible what the guy did. Then you see the guy that did the Iron Man. He had all the moving parts and all that type of stuff. It's just, like I said, cosplay, man. It's just like you guys are just it seems like each con, it's just, the level goes up and up. It's crazy. It's great work. Great work.
I absolutely agree entirely because I personally enjoy the community because you can talk with each other and not have any qualms, or you can have a difference of opinion and actually still hold a civil conversation. Whereas if you were to go like Marvel versus DC fans, you just get an all-out war. Yeah, I see him laughing in the background.
Seb, you know what you have to do now, man. You got your topic for the next panel, baby.
Yeah, well, you know what's interesting? They already hinted they wanted to do that next year. Going off the thing we did last time, because we did one at Fort Hamilton, and it was interesting. It was Star Wars versus Star Trek. And yeah, man. But I got some ideas, though. I would like to see some more cosplay events. I got some ideas, and maybe. Well, you're going to be you're going to be away for 4 years, right?
I will be stationed in Japan for at least 2 years. I'm going to try and extend for 3, mainly because 1, I make good money out in Japan, and 2, I was born in Japan, so I'm basically going home.
Oh, look at that! All right.
Where in Japan?
Yokosuka?
Wow. Always wanted to go to Japan, man. Always wanted to go to Japan. It's been
Totally recommend going. It's I absolutely love it. I can't wait to go back. I probably the first thing I'm gonna do is eat at my favorite ramen shop, which is still there after all these years.
Oh wow! Now wait a minute. When you're stationed in Japan, does that mean you're stuck there, or you do come back and forth? Like you'll be here?
I can come back and forth, but for the most part, I'll be out there doing a job.
Okay.
I mean, like for example, with access to things like Skype or Facebook, I won't be unimpeded when it comes to access to the internet or Skype, keeping in touch with Skype or things like that.
You don't know that. FCC.
FCC is in America. That's your fine Japan. No, I don't have to worry about net neutrality. They have it in Japan.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Mind blown.
Yeah, that whole thing. That's just a darn fiasco, a bunch of greed. I'm gonna stay on this side because my mouth will get real foul right now with how I feel about that whole thing. So I'll let y'all touch on that one.
Be sure I can get 1,000 times worse than you ever could.
Still water all over my monitor.
Oh man. All right, so that means you could, as long as Skype is working, you could join us at any time. That's what you're telling us.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Oh man.
So, to answer your question, I actually came across my character while watching one of my personal favorite series, Inuyasha. It's an older series that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s. A lot of people grew up on it and probably watched it without realizing it. And when I started watching the movies, I watched the third movie, which finally featured the character, his father, Inu no Taisho. Because his father was only shown throughout the series as a skeleton who'd been dead for 200 years. And we finally get to see if this guy was really the badass that everybody portrayed him as. And in the 10 minutes of screen time that he was allotted before he died, he established himself as the ultimate badass. That's all I needed was 10 minutes. So I was like, sold, I'm done. I'm doing it. I'm going to recreate that costume. There's hardly any reference images that I can use, but I will figure it out. And as you can see from the pictures, I figured it out.
You figured it out. Did your homework. Yeah, it paid off, man. That's what, like, as far as anime, I was like early 90s. Like, when I got it for me was Fist of the North Star. That's
Ooh,
Hands
that,
down, man. I wrote a lot of stuff. I watched that thing. I just went nuts when I saw Fist of the North Star. Then I was hooked. And Vampire Hunter D and stuff like that. And Ninja Scroll. I'm more of like the early '90s to maybe like the 2000s. I kind of fell off, but I watched a lot of the earlier stuff. Yeah,
I think the earliest stuff that I watched was Rurouni Kenshin, Dragon Ball Z,
watched a
Cowboy
lot of
Bebop,
Dragon Ball. A lot of Dragon Ball.
Neon Genesis Evangelion, Gundam Wing.
Yeah, watched a lot of that.
That was what I grew up on. I absolutely loved a lot of those series.
Wow.
How's anime overseas versus here?
So, a lot of people like watching the subbed versions of animes as opposed to the dubbed. And personally, I can't watch the sub because having been born in Japan, that was the first language I learned. So I already have a good concept of how to speak Japanese. So while I'm watching the anime, I'm listening to it in the native tongue, but I'm seeing subtitles. And the subtitles, I'd say 1 out of every 5 subtitle lines that come up are translated wrong because I know that's not what they said. And I'm just sitting there like, that's not what that means.
Wow. Wow.
And
Can you think of an example?
Yeah, one more time.
Can you think of an example like that you've been watching recently and it came up?
I was watching a anime not too long ago. I think it was Orin High School Host Club, and there was a scene where one of the girl main characters had accidentally interrupted a meeting, and she apologized, but what she said was "gomenosai," which means "I'm sorry." What the subtitles could have translated as, it said "excuse me." Excuse me is "sumimasen."
All right.
As you can clearly see, 2 very different pronunciations and spellings altogether.
Right. Wow. I can understand that. Yeah, that would be, yeah, especially if you speak the language, that could be an issue. Yep. There we go. Now you heard it. You heard it.
Are there any examples where they were so wrong that it just totally changed the meaning of what was going on?
Oh man, let me tell you, there have been a couple of times that has come across. I mean, despite some of the animation companies' attempts to try and tone back the tone and setting for some animes like Dragon Ball or Gundam Wing, a lot of the situations were made out to be a lot more violent than what people see here in the States. That's one reason people tend to watch the sub version as opposed to the dub version. So there have been a couple of times that I've seen where the changes were so drastic that the image that's showing for the scene doesn't match what's being said.
Okay.
Like,
So
for
they're trying to
example, there
basically
was
censor it. They're censoring stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. Do you think you might end up doing some of the voiceovers yourself in the future?
That's hey.
uh,
There's good money in voiceover work, man.
I don't doubt there's good money in voiceover work. I do have to say, arigato gozaimasu. Thank you very much for the compliment.
I called it first, folks. If it happens, I called it first.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Whether I do or not, I mean, I just play things by ear. I don't try to go super out of my way to do something unless I really, really, really like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Maybe I'll take a look into that the next con I go to, because I've been taking a look at some cons over in Japan since I won't be able to come to very many here stateside for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that for the Tokyo Game Show, that's usually held at the beginning of September, on top of the fact they let you test out games that are getting ready to come out, which I got to actually enjoy that back in 2011. Awesome. Totally recommend you guys go if you get a chance. That's the way. that I know that cons like that or Tokyo Game Show, they'll occasionally have panels where they have voiceover tryouts to see if you want to be able to do voiceover work or to see if you can do voiceover work, since apparently there's a lot more that goes into voiceover as opposed to just coming in just reading the lines. You have to be able to inflect certain emotions, be able to change the tone at the snap of a finger.
I mean, basically, you're just acting. You're just acting for the character. That's basically what you're doing.
Right.
Yep.
I'm ready. And I'm working with Landon. I'm ready.
Oh my goodness.
Nah, I think that's super awesome. So wait a minute. Are there any more cons? No, right? Not for a little bit, right?
Doesn't help me out here. New York Comic Con, don't they do like a smaller one in January?
Not that I'm aware of. I know that a lot of bigger cons tend to hold a New Year's celebration depending on the particular area. Like for me, I'm down in Virginia, so I keep track of a lot of the cons that are in the Virginia area. On occasion, I'll go a little bit further, like for the most recently. I actually went to Anime New York City last month. That was the first time that I'd been to New York. And on top of that, I heard it was going to be a really big con that had several big name artists, as well as the entire voice cast for the new Sailor Moon series, as well as the original series that they were redubbing. So I was like, get all those voice actors in one setting? No, where do I sign?
And that's where I met you.
That he did. I'll be honest, I met so many people that weekend because I, as I'm sure you remember, I was in my cosplay and I was getting stopped every 3 seconds. I couldn't go 2 steps without somebody, hey, can I take a picture? Absolutely. I pose, flash come up, flash mob disappears, I take another 2 steps. Oh, I'm sorry, can I take another picture? Sure. So I just strike another pose, another flash mob would pop up. If you want a flash mob, just follow me around the con. I promise you.
That's cool.
You will not be disappointed.
That's cool. At least you're approachable, man. Some of them get to the point where, man, it's like that goes to their head. But nah, that's like I said, all that work you put in.
Super gracious guy, as well as does good work, which is awesome to see.
Good thing.
Somebody talented putting their heart and soul in something and stays really cool.
Humble.
You know.
I personally, I like staying laid back, chill, but there is every now and again when somebody will push my buttons. Because, like, for example, I've gone to a few masquerades with this costume, and I wouldn't get any recognition, so I would ask for feedback, and the feedback that I would get would be so vague. That drove me insane to the point where I would end up having a falling out with the judges because of the fact I was pushing them for more specific feedback, and they weren't giving it to me. Like, an example would be, like, imagine that you have a car, okay? And you have somebody that's looking to buy it, and they notice something wrong, and they tell you, hey, there's something wrong with the car. So you're like, okay, what's wrong with it? I don't know, it's under the hood. Okay, where under the hood? I don't know, somewhere behind the engine. Go fix it. That would be the level of feedback I would get. So I'm sitting there like, how can I improve this if you don't tell me what to improve?
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you can't articulate the problem. Oh, no. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about.
That's funny. Articulation.
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 Okay, well, before we go, what is your Instagram, your website?
My Facebook page is DRAGONBANE Cosplay and Props. It has a picture of my Inu no Taisho cosplay. My Instagram, I'm still working on getting that set up. It's currently Howard Landon with no spaces. So feel free to follow me on Facebook. I make posts on how I make my props as well as how I'm progressing with the build I'm working on. So if anybody has questions on how to make a particular prop or how to do this, or if they have any recommendations or anything they want to see, just give me a message.
And next time you're doing anything in the tri-state area, let's take some pictures and kind of follow you. I think that would be kind of cool to almost do like a mini doc. That'd be cool.
Yeah, give us a heads up.
Yeah.
And I think I actually have 1 or 2 pictures of you. I got to send them to you. Even though the internet is like full of you, just. But it's great, man. Like it's good. Like it's so easy to find your stuff, which is really impressive. That tells you how many people really appreciate your work, which is.
That's a good thing.
Which is really awesome.
I can see you guys have better luck than I am, because I never see pictures of when I get done.
Really?
I'm like, where am I at?
Oh my goodness.
Where are they?
Oh man. Oh yeah. That's the other thing. Quick advice for anyone that wants to cosplay for the first time.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. If this Taisho cosplay with all the moving parts was the first cosplay I've built from the ground up. I learned foam working, leather working, woodworking. I mean, I went out of my way, YouTube videos. My best advice would be, if you want to cosplay a character, don't worry about any reservations. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks. Do what you want to do.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be walking in and out the door to your room in that cosplay. You're the one that's going to be ultimately satisfied with how it came out.
You're the one every 5 minutes people are going to stop you and take pictures of all day.
All day, every day.
Thank you so much, Howard Landon. Really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Howard.
Yes, thank you.
And of course, Sensei Vegan.
Always a pleasure.
And the night, Michael. I am Michael Seven. Michael, you're watching Eclectica, and please continue to support us. Check us out on sevnetwork.com, Sev Network on Facebook, and Sev Network on Instagram. Subscribe. YouTube, Sonic Eclectic, and we will see you next time.